Most restaurant owners think a stamp card is a loyalty program. It's not, and that one mistake is what's keeping your slow nights slow. A real digital loyalty program wires your POS, your customer database, your rewards engine, and automatic messaging into one machine that brings guests back without you lifting a finger. Get that machine running and loyalty traffic climbs 5% while everyone else's traffic drops 2%. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how that machine works and the 5 red flags that means you're about to pay for a spreadsheet disguised as a loyalty program. What a digital loyalty program actually is. This isn't an app, and it isn't software you install once and forget about. It's a connected system built around one job. It watches every transaction, remembers who made it, and follows up automatically so that guest comes back. Most owners never experience it that way. They experience 4 different vendor logins, point system nobody on staff can explain, a sales rep who keeps saying the word engagement without ever showing a real number. That confusion isn't an accident because vendors who own your customer data and lock the reward logic inside their own app have every reason to keep things vague. The moment you understand how the system actually works, you start asking harder questions about who really owns the relationship with your guests. Strip away the sales pitch, and every real digital loyalty program comes down to 4 connected pieces. There's the POS link that captures the sale, the customer database that remembers the guest, the rewards engine that decides what they earn, and the messaging channel that brings them back without you lifting a finger. Everything else is just packaged. Stamp cards versus digital, where the old system breaks. Compare that to the paper stamp card taped next to your register. It's cheap, guests understand it instantly, and it asks nothing of a tech budget. But a stamp card is completely anonymous. It doesn't know the guest's name, how much they spend, or whether they've been in twice this month or twice this year. If the card gets lost in the glove box or left on a kitchen counter, that guest's entire history disappears with it, and nobody on your staff even notices they're gone. The bigger problem is the math behind most stamp cards. A lot of them get built on gut feeling instead of behavior, setting the first reward at 15 visits. For an average customer, that can take about 15 weeks to reach, and most people quit long before they get there. There's no reminders pushing them along, no way to see who dropped off at visit 6, and no way to test a lower threshold and see if more people actually finish. And that's still better than what most digital vendors sell you. A digital system fixes this the moment the card gets swiped or a phone number gets entered at checkout. The visit logs automatically, tied to a real profile instead of a stack of holes punched in cardstock. And the reward threshold can actually be set where the data says it should be, usually somewhere around 5 to 8 visits instead of 15. Tonight or tomorrow, pull one stamp card off the counter and write the real first reward at 5 to 8 visits, even if you still use paper this week. The 4 pieces that make it work. So this is how those 4 pieces actually work together. Start with the POS link because it's the backbone everything else depends on. When it's done right, a cashier rings up an order, the system recognizes the guest by their card, phone number, email address, and their point balance updates in the same motion as the sale. No separate tablet, no second login, no extra step for staff to forget during a Friday night rush. That transaction doesn't just process a payment, it also feeds your customer database, which is the part that turns an anonymous sale into an actual profile with name, contact info, how often they show up, and roughly what they spend. This is what lets the system tell the difference between a regular who hasn't been in for 6 weeks and a guest who was just in last Tuesday. Without that database, you're just running a stamp card with better graphics. The rewards engine is where the rules live, and it's honestly where many programs quietly fail. That includes point values, tiers, and exactly what a guest gets and when they get it. A rewards engine set up with the wrong first threshold or a maze of confusing point rules will bleed guests exactly the way a bad stamp card does, just with more steps involved. The 4th piece is the one that actually does the work of bringing people back. That's automated messaging. Whether it's a push notification, text, email, triggered by real behavior instead of a mass blast to everyone on the list. One restaurant owner cut no-shows from 23% down to 8% in just 6 weeks by sending automatic confirmation messages before reservation. That same owner started sending a short heads up about slow Tuesday specials and turned their dead Tuesday nights into the 3rd busiest night of the week within 3 months. That's not a fluke. It's the reason loyalty-driven restaurant traffic grew 5% last year, while overall restaurant traffic actually fell 2% over that same stretch. Restaurants running this whole loop, POS to database to rewards to messaging, know exactly who to talk to and when. None of this requires a dedicated IT person either. Geofencing and push campaigns inside a system like this usually take under 10 minutes to set up. If your vendor can't do this loop, you're not on a loyalty program. You're just stuck in some billing plan. The features that actually matter. Once those 4 pieces are actually connected, a handful of features fall out of them almost automatically. Automated point tracking is the obvious one. No more manual stamping. No more staff guessing who to trust. Personalized offers come next because because the system knows a guest's real order history instead of guessing what a random discount code should say. Geofencing is one of the more useful features owners skip past because it lets a message go out the moment a past guest walks near the restaurant instead of sitting unread in an inbox from 3 days ago. Referral incentives plug into the same rewards engine, so a guest who brings a friend earns something concrete instead of just getting a thank you. Last is the piece that actually tells you whether any of this is working, and that's analytics built around second visit rate and how many guests come back within 30 days. Those two numbers predict revenue better than almost anything else a restaurant can track because they show whether a first-time guest is turning into a regular. That's the gap this whole system is built to close. Data shows that 86% of customers say they join a restaurant loyalty program, but only 36% actually do. That's a 50-point gap between interest and action, and it usually comes down to friction. A program somebody has to think about, download, or remember rarely survives contact with a Tuesday night rush. Red flags that mean you're buying a glorified stamp card. But most vendors never fix that friction. They just repackage. Run any vendor pitch through this 5-point checklist. If it has any of these 5 things, you're not buying a digital loyalty program, you're buying a stamp card with a login screen and a monthly bill. First is that there's no real POS integration, which means your staff has to manually key in points or juggle a second tablet at the counter instead of the system doing it for them. That's not automation, that's just more work. Unlike the Lil Tot app, many loyalty platforms lock you into its own hardware and software ecosystem, which becomes a huge constraint. So when considering loyalty platforms, be sure you can integrate with the tools you're already using. Second, the program requires guests to download a separate app just to join. 83% of loyalty apps get deleted within 30 days of being installed. So any friction at sign up is basically killing the program before it starts. A QR code that tracks points automatically beats a download every single time. For instance, the Lil Tot app solves this by creating a digital loyalty pass that lives in your customer's wallet app. No apps to download or update, no crazy passwords to remember, just really easy to use. Third, the vendor won't hand over a clean list of your own customers' contact info. If you can't export your guest list and reach them directly, you're renting that relationship instead of owning it, and you're stuck if you ever want to switch vendors. Fourth is the same overcomplicated point rules and distant first rewards that kill paper stamp cards, just dressed up digital. 15 steps to a free appetizer fails just as hard on a phone as it does on cards. Fifth is generic text blasted to the whole list at once. We miss you, come back, sent to every single person isn't a loyalty program. It's a discount coupon with extra step. A system that actually works sends something specific to the right guests at the right moment because it knows exactly who those guests are. So the real question isn't whether you need a loyalty program. It's whether the one you're running or the one someone's about to sell you actually connects those 4 pieces or just looks the part on a demo screen. If you want something to check your setup against, grab your free guide, 5 loyalty strategies to generate cash flow fast. You can find the link in the description below. Knowing the machine still doesn't tell you which type fits your restaurant. Points, tiers, punch-based, cashback, paid membership. Same 4 pieces under the hood, wrong pick still bleeds repeats. I break down the top 5 types and which one fits your setup in this video right over here.